Hello, everybody. Welcome to Alpha Flight Monday. Alpha Flight number 32, March 86. Featuring the new Vindicator. And we get Heather in the suit that Guardian had created as Vindicator. We get what looks like a dude in a turban with a sword holding on to Puck, Box, North Star, Aurora. Let's dive on in. Stan Lee presents Short Story. I forgot to put my cheaters on here. There we go. I'm here, Puck, and ready to begin my battle training. No! Although the figure standing in the doorway of Alpha Flight's recently constructed danger room wears the costume of the team's late lamented leader, Guardian, and by the way, Bill Mantlo writer, John Bogdanove penciler, Jerry Taliak inker, Jim Novak letterer, Bob Sharon colorist, Carl Potts editor, Jim Shooter editor-in-chief. It is not James MacDonald Hudson who addresses the diminutive Puck, but his wife, Heather. Is something wrong, Puck? I told you I was feeling woefully inadequate as Alpha's leader, without any combat training or superpowers to call my own. So I went out and found Power, a Guardian battlesuit, just like that worn by Mac. Now I want you to supply the training. After briefly knowing what it meant to possess power during our encounter with the X-Men. Oh, and now that's referencing the Alpha Flight X-Men crossover. I reviewed that a while back. You could find it in the playlist that's going to pop up at the end of this video. And after the way she's been victimized lately by her enemies, Scramble and Deadly Ernest, I should have foreseen that Heather might seize any chance to make herself equal in might to those she's supposed to lead. Heather, that costume couldn't keep Mac from dying. It was the battlesuit's power pack that killed him, eh? The costume didn't kill Mac. His lack of combat sense did. He was a scientist, not a soldier. Me, I was just his secretary, and then his wife. But you and the rest of Alpha Flight saw fit to elect me team leader, and now I want you to give me the edge Mac lacked. Show me how to survive, Puck. Teach me how to fight. And so he shall. She's flipping around the danger room. You see Mr. Jeffries, Roger Box are watching. They're saying that this danger room is patterned on the X-Men's, with one important exception. As a transmuter of metal and machines, here I run the whole show. Jeffries has but to gesture, and the danger room responds. Yikes! Swam! So he smashes fist into hand, and these two things slam into each other. When Heather asked me to train her, I thought she wanted me to show her some basic self-defense techniques. She is determined to become a superhero, and I think mostly for the right reasons, too. Alpha needs more help. Alpha needs more muscle, and she's going to try to provide it. It never occurred to me that she'd have Box and Jeffries recreate the Guardian suit. I can understand why she did, but her husband learned the hard way that you can't just acquire superpowers. Most of Alpha were born with them. Me, I never needed more than my own agility. Heather's coming into this game from literally a desk job, but combat's not a 9-to-5 calling. I've got to haul her in and talk some not the pain again, not now. So Puck's been experiencing this pain, and it's hitting him right now in the middle of a fight, when he really doesn't need it to. And yet that's exactly when the pain would strike, when he knows that I'll forget to focus past it due to my concern over one I love. Whoa. When he knows? What does that mean? And one I love? Well, we know what that means. The suit's force fields are working beautifully, Roger. Mr. Jeffries hasn't laid a finger on me yet, but it's more than just the suit. I can almost feel the power flowing through me. So euphoric is Heather that she has forgotten about Puck. But he is incapable of forgetting about her. I've held my pain in check for too many years to let it overwhelm me now. And yet each exertion incurs new agony as he struggles to aid Heather. And I've mentioned this before, that I always found Ben Grimm, the Thing, to be the heart and soul of the Fantastic Four. And I think in some ways the heart and soul of the Marvel Universe, given that he's patterned on Jack Kirby. Puck, to me, is the heart and soul of Alpha Flight. Guardian was the leader, created the team. That's all awesome. But Puck is such an important character, and I'm glad we're getting a little bit more of him at the moment in this run. We're getting sort of a storyline that is more focused on Puck, although it's being teased out little by little. Suit's working like a dream, Boxy. Yes, I'd say we'd tested its capabilities. But what about Heather's? Can she cut it in a combat situation, you mean? Let's find out. Another gesture, and Mr. Jeffries' transmutative power shapes hidden machinery, which, obeying inexplicable physical laws, does the mutant's bidding. Oh, this thing's containing me, force field and all. If someone more powerful than Mr. Jeffries had been commanding the claw, it might have crushed right through me. But what was it Wolverine used to say when he was still with Alpha Flight? Oh yes, the best defense is an offense. Concussive energy beams from Heather's gauntlet secure her release. So basically what we're getting here through many panels is her sort of getting a taste of, of combat. She gets her glasses knocked off here. They're going to deal with that at some point. But she's going through all the motions. She's seeing how it works. And losing the glasses, she almost, falls and gets hurt. And Puck manages to catch her. But as long as its power pack was on, I guess that the missiles would keep homing in on me. So I powered off to throw the hunter-seekers off my scent, knowing you'd be here, Puck, to catch me when I fell. My pain almost prevented me, but at the sight of Heather in danger, I knew I had to act. You little fool. Fool? Am I a fool because I want to be able to share the dangers I send Alpha Flight into, because I want to survive the way Mac couldn't? We're getting some good character building here with Heather and with Puck. You've seen more combat, survived more battles than all of Alpha combined, Puck. I thought you'd be able to help me, train me. But if you won't, I know somebody who will. Miss Hudson, you were great. Simply sensational, Heather. You and the suit performed beyond all expectations. I survived, Roger, which is more than I can say for my glasses. Yes, I noticed that, and had already devised a solution. Try them on. I believe you'll find that they are the correct prescription. They look and feel just like my sunglasses. They are your sunglasses. I just altered them a little. Super hardened and specially treated, of course, to be practically unbreakable. Thank you, Roger, Mr. Jeffries. So now she's got the kind of goggles thing going. We got Vindicator. So kind of a big issue for Alpha Flight, the origination of Vindicator as a superhero character. And, it's kind of cool because we've gotten 31 issues to get to know Heather Hudson as a normal person. And we followed her along as she was sort of the den mother of early Alpha Flight to having to step up into a leadership position while she was going through the grief of losing her husband. And now to this point, I don't know if there's a whole lot of more characters in comic books who we've gotten to see them pre-superpowers than Vindicator. She's a well-established character before she ever becomes a superhero. And so anyhow, she now is determined she's going to train, and Puck's a little upset about this. If you don't mind my asking, you seem to care for Heather. Why didn't you give her the training she desires? Because she's a novice in a profession notably lacking in pity when it comes to apprentices. because I don't wish to see her get hurt, because I do care for her, eh? And because I'm just a lousy little dwarf who lacks the right to tell her so. You're being awfully hard on yourself, Mr. Judd. I'd like to help you. If you help me, what kind of help can a cripple offer? A cripple? Oh, a cripple? Okay, so, not a nice thing to say. Obviously, Judd is going through some rough stuff, and he's having some problems, and he's taking it out on Box. Seconds later, in a shadowed sublevel corridor of Alpha Flight's mansion. Good going, Eugene. In one morning, you've managed to alienate the woman you secretly love and a friend who never did you any harm. What's the matter? Have you been a loner so long that you're afraid of anything that might change that? But you made the change when you joined Alpha Flight. And so you're still dealing with this pain. And now we see this entity, this black, cloudy entity, gathering over him. And this is something he's been holding in. It'd be so easy to stop fighting, to let him go. Then I could offer myself to Heather as I was, not half a man anymore. Don't dwarves deserve happiness too? Ugh. Puck collapses, not because the pain gets worse, but because it stops. The elevator fills with a strange darkness and begins to rise. Towards the mansion's roof. And so Aurora and North Star are on the roof, sort of enjoying the view of Tamarind Island and the Straits of San Juan de Fuca from up high. We didn't come up here to discuss the natural beauty of the British Columbian island, which houses our headquarters, Jean-Marie, but to talk about what's happened to us. Oh, North Star, what is done is done. Why can't we just let the past die the way our beloved Walter died? And we're talking about Walter Lankowski here, who was formerly Sasquatch. And face our future together. That is precisely what we cannot do, Aurora. Separated by the death of our parents at birth, growing to adolescence in ignorance of each other's existence, joyously reunited in Alpha Flight, we now find ourselves cut off from the slightest physical contact with each other for fear of negating our powers. The result of an experiment gone awry. Lankowski sought to realign your genetic structure to prevent your persecution as a mutant. He succeeded in altering your powers, but what if that is not all he did? There could be other side effects of which we aren't aware. Who? Guardian? No, someone wearing his costume. So they see Heather run out onto the roof and take off. But what is all going on above the mansion? Aurora spots it. A dark, evil-looking cloud that turns into a sort of demonic face. The shaft just seemed to erupt without the heat or noise that should follow such an explosion. Black clouds roil overhead, encircling that figure lying in the elevator, the shattered elevator. Keep away, he is mine. It's hard to make him out through the smoke, but he appears to be hurt. We have to help him. Sapriest. No one will touch the Keeper. I claim Giant Judd as he claimed me. And let all who seek to aid him fear the black blade of a razor. Judd? That oversized old man lying on the floor of the elevator is Puck? Impossible. But whoever he is, we've got to save him from this creature. Provided, my sister, that we first save ourselves. So we got a battle on our hands. And they hear it down below. Box phases into the robot. So he's ready to go. You can reach the roof faster by flying up the launch tube. And remember, you stay phased inside that robot battle box for too long, and you may never get out. Now you notice this is classic old comics. Every issue might be somebody's first, so people kind of make fun of the dialogue. Who would actually say that? Well, it's said so that a kid reading for this for the first time sort of knows how things work and knows there's a certain danger to Roger Box phasing into the armor. And we get this cutaway here of him going up the launch tube from below up to the roof. We are under attack, but why didn't the This being appears to be mystical in origin box. Our instruments are not attuned to detect such a foe. If Shaman or Talisman were still among our ranks, or if Snowbird were here today, they might have sensed Razor's assault. Razor? Okay, so we got to fight against this mystical entity. Box goes after him. The sword seemingly cuts through him, and it creates a psychological shock, which sort of, knocks him out, at least stuns him for a moment. No, I can't let him do to Alpha what he tried to do to me. So who's crawling out? Well, who's crawling out is Puck, except he's not a dwarf anymore. He's full-sized. So he was containing this entity within him, and that entity turned him into, well, what he was, and what we all just thought. Up to this point, people just figured, well, Puck was always a dwarf. That's just who he was. Well, that's wrong. And so, in fact, he was actually quite tall. They referred to him as Giant Judd. And Mr. Jeffries runs out there, and he's like, what the heck? That looks like Puck. It's me, all right, Mr. Jeffries, Eugene Judd. But you're not a dwarf anymore. Heck, you're a giant, at least 6'6". And Heather's gone for all this. She flew off. We'll find out where she was flying to next issue. And 100 years old. 71, Mr. Jeffries. Did that guy with the sword age you? Who is he? Where'd he come from? Give me the Reader's Digest version. Maybe I can use the info to help. Aurora seems to be holding him off for the moment. His name is Razor. He's a sorcerer. He was centuries ago before becoming a wraith-like manifestation of mystical force. And no, it was not Razor who aged me. If anything, our shared existence has extended my life. You see, I was born in 1914, and had already lived quite an adventurous existence as a soldier of fortune, if you will. By the time a rare treasure known as the Black Blade of Baghdad came to my attention in 1939. So Puck was kind of like an Indiana Jones or something. And this is definitely making me think of like Conan going up the Tower of the Elephant. And so we get the backstory of him going after this Black Blade, getting past guards and all that good kind of adventurous, daring-do kind of stuff. The blade blazed from within with a fierce black fire. Maybe I was doomed the moment I intended to double deal those who had hired me. I knew the moment I set eyes on it that this was one treasure I wouldn't offer for resale. For the blade seemed to respond to my dishonest thoughts as well as my touch. As if sensing a kindred spirit, a sinister scream sang along its ebon steel, and something sprang free from the sword. In an instant, my mind was flooded with legends of a renegade sorcerer imprisoned by the spells of Persian mystics inside a shining white scimitar. I thank you for freeing me, mortal, yet now I fear I must slay you, lest you contemplate incarcerating my spirit again. All I wanted was to get out of there in one piece. Yarg! As he gets struck. His black blade cut me in two, but it didn't kill me. No, I'm shorter by about 6 inches. Razor's blade stole some of my life force, and with its loss, I've been reduced in size. So they struggle, and he manages to absorb Razor as a living vessel. And because of that, he shrinks down in stature. But then the years became decades of unending pain as the force within me struggled to escape. My current crisis of conscience gave it the chance it needed. So you're free at last. Yes, Mr. Jeffries, I am free. My life has been restored to me. And as a result, Razor menaces my teammates. I hope I shall find another way. Oh, but if you... Yeah, that one's a little confusing. But if you try to contain Razor again, what about the pain? I hope I shall find another way. Sure, Puck, is it really you? In the wrinkled flesh, Aurora, a little taller than you're used to, a little stiffer and slower, but ready to do what must be done. You are glowing again, which I assume means that North Star has revived, eh? Keep Razor engaged while I reach your brother. we will need his help. Puck, is it really? I've already had that conversation, Jean-Paul. And as much as I'd like to continue my stroll down memory lane, I think you'd agree we have much more pressing matters to concern us now, eh? Yes, but what can we do? I wasn't sure until I saw Razor cower back from Aurora, but now I know. Light contains Razor's darkness. The sorceress light shining off the blade of a mystically forged sword, or the light of a spirit fighting to survive. Love this image of Puck. Old man Puck. It's really nice. Good art in this issue. Good art in this issue. So he comes up with a plan. And as he's running around, she's shining the light. And then what, Puck? You've already said that nothing short of some kind of master of the mystic arts can contain that creep. No, I said that only the light of a living soul would do. Razor would only manage to corrupt any other vessel, as he did the Black Blade in time. But a living soul can resist corruption, fight back, imprison Razor, as long as it takes. Yeah, and its owner'd give up a normal life as a reward. There are advantages, not the least of which may be immortality. I can't ask any of you to make such a sacrifice. There'd also be an infinity of pain. I can't make that kind of sacrifice again. However, having resumed my rightful age, I wonder how many years I have left, Mr. Jeffries. I think that I would like to go on living at any price. Now, if you'll excuse me. And once again, by stabbing himself sort of with that sword, he absorbs Razor. But into that mystically manifested wound, the screaming sorcerer is drawn back into imprisonment, where he will be contained so long as a tormented little man lives out his eldritch extended life. And importantly, all of this happened while Heather is away. So she doesn't know what Puck's been going through and what he had to do to save everybody else. Again, I say, Puck, bravo. One of my favorite characters in Marvel of all time. I don't know that he gets enough attention, enough love from Marveldom assembled. He is really a fantastic character. Brave, sacrifices himself, a good leader, etc. Awesome character. So now we know the source of Puck's pain, what he went through, how old he is. We know the sort of secret origin of Puck. Well-told tale here. And we've also gotten the origin of Heather as Vindicator. And she flew away. She missed most of the action in this issue. Where did she go? We're going to find out next week, next Alpha Flight Monday, in Alpha Flight number 33. But for now, what do you think of this issue, folks? I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Any comments, any questions are appreciated. Any questions I will try to answer as best I can and when I get a chance. If you enjoyed this video, if you're enjoying Alpha Flight Mondays, please give it a like. Maybe think of subscribing. Maybe share with a friend. Until next time, God bless everybody. Please be kind to one another. Have a little bit of fun out there, and I will see you again soon in Dad's Den of Pop Culture. Bye-bye.